Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Dads Watching Sports. Michael Draper, Kyle Castles, Matt, Woo, Pig, Suey, Kirk. Guys, it is episode 35. It is Monday, October 4th, and we've got a jam-packed show for you this week. I'm very excited about getting everything, all of the Matt, I know what you're doing there, but all the topics, all the banter. And guys, guess what? We're bringing back the dad debate tonight for all three of us going at it, which I'm very excited about. It's the only time that phrase will ever be used. But guys,
potentially.
No, there's no potentially to it.
There's whiskey involved. You never know.
That's true.
I know. That's it.
There you go. Thank you there, Kyle. So Kyle, I'm sitting here watching the NBA Finals. I got the Miami Heat and LA Lakers, and man, Rondo just had a huge block on Jimmy Butler. But Kyle, I don't know if you remember, but we had a little bit of a wager when the NBA kind of brought things back. We all drafted a team, and we made a wager of whoever's team finished worse, that person was going to have to paint their fingernails for display on this show. I saw you yesterday to remind you that you were not getting out of this at your son's birthday party, which was fantastic. Congratulations to you and your wife for putting on a great party. So Kyle, I've got to ask you, let's see those fingernails, bud. Nice. So let's see here. I'm going to see if I can do this here. Can we pull Kyle? Yeah, there we go. Pulling Kyle up just so we can get a good look. I love the fact that someone added the little dots on there. That's a nice touch.
Yeah. Lauren had a little bit of fun with that.
Yeah, that's Lauren. Good job. Way to go. That's fantastic. That far exceeded my expectations because you went multicolor. You got the dots. Yeah, kudos to you and great job, Lauren, for coming through with that. So how painful was that, Kyle?
Not painful. It feels really weird, actually. It's a new feeling that I've had. I don't like it.
I would hope that it does feel weird having painted fingernails. If you thought, man, this actually feels pretty natural. No offense to anybody that does that, but having the pink and blue and green and polka dots, yeah, I would be a little worried about you if you.
I paint my toenails.
We believe that.
That I do. Is that after you go get a pedi?
Yeah. Well, no, it's at the same time, Kyle.
Get the clear coat.
Yeah. No, it's not clear. It's that Razorback red for kicking butt.
We'll get to that. We'll get to that in just a few moments, Matt. But Matt, you're not off the hook here because not only did we make a wager for the NBA in the playoffs in which Kyle lost, and Kyle, let's get one more shot at those fingernails if you don't mind, sir. Come on, let's pull that up big on the big screen. So all of our viewers and listeners out there, Kyle's got pink, green, purple. Are the thumbs done, Kyle?
Thumbs are done.
Oh, yeah, the thumbs are done. That's very nice. Very, very nice. So Kyle lost the bet, but Matt, you also lost a bet for our NHL draft, and part of that bet was a $100 donation to a favorite charity.
No, I believe that the $100 charity was for baseball. It wasn't for the.
You know what? Yeah, you're right. Nope, you're right. It is for baseball, but baseball season, we are in the division, or we're heading towards the division series. You're absolutely right, but your team did not make the playoffs.
Yeah,
so you're
that's
still on the hook.
But who's going to finish lower in the rankings? So we don't even really know yet.
Yes, we do. Your team didn't make the playoffs. There's no way they can't be lower in the. They finished last in their division.
That doesn't mean anything.
It absolutely means everything.
No, it doesn't.
Yes, it does.
When pen goes to paper.
No, your team is out. You're out $100. So where are you throwing your charitable donation towards, Matt?
Well, so this was to the winner's choice. So I believe that you picked Mike or Kyle gets to pick.
Well, actually, Kyle and I have a division series.
Depends on who wins the series,
which we'll get to.
Something collaborative here for me.
We can talk through that. Maybe we'll have a decision if we don't have a winner by next week. Maybe we'll Kyle and I can collaborate and we'll have a decision on who the winner is. But Matt will be donating $100 to a choice by one of us or both of us. So we appreciate your participation in that, Matt.
Well, and also remember that you guys were saying that you were all going to donate because it was for a good cause.
Did we say that, Kyle?
Yes,
We
you
said
did,
that.
Michael. I can
Okay.
go back and pull the tape.
We
Oh,
said
come
it.
on now. Come on now, Matt.
No, man, I'll go pull the tape.
I think we said there was going to be triple or nothing, and the loser
Tape
was
alive.
going to go back and do that. So,
Tape
well,
alive.
you know who edits the tapes here, Matt. So if those magically disappear, I can't help you. I don't know. Who knows? Well, guys, if you're checking us out here on the Facebook pages, we're streaming on all over the place, really. We're on the Dad's Watching Sports Facebook page, the RTF Sports Network Facebook page, the All Access Sports Network Facebook page, which RTF Sports is rebranded to All Access Sports. So we're on their Facebook page, and then we're also on a couple of YouTube channels. So if you're streaming us, hello, and thank you for participating and watching the show. Look at Kyle's fingernails. If you're checking us out through a way to download the podcast, we appreciate that. Check us out on Apple Podcasts. Leave us a rate or review. Shoot us a list. Know what you think about the show. We would definitely appreciate that. Guys, let's get into some Major League Baseball talk. We just talked a little bit about the division series. And the division series are set. They will begin this week. And so when we come next week, we should have maybe not winners, but we're definitely going to be pretty well deep in those division series matchups. So, Kyle, we've got the Rays versus the Yankees in the AL East matchup. The A's, Oakland A's versus the Astros in an AL West matchup. Then we've got in the NL, we've got the West. We got the Padres, your Padres versus my Dodgers in what will be a very fun, I believe, series. And then really kind of the Cinderella story through all this, guys, the Marlins, the Miami Marlins, Kyle, knocking off your Cubbies, taking on the Atlanta Braves in that matchup. So, Kyle, you look across those four division series, kind of what are your thoughts on those matchups? And here in just a second, we'll get to our picks. But what do you think about those matchups?
I mean, I think we got some good series. The one I care least about is that Marlins Braves series. Like, who cares? I think the Dodgers Padres is shaped up to be probably the best, if not the Rays Yankees series. As long as the Astros get beat by the A's, I'll be happy.
I think we're all on that board, all aboard on that train. Everybody wanting the Astros to get knocked out. TJ says, hello, boys. Hey, TJ, it was a tough day on Saturday for your Aggies, but it's going to be that way for everybody that plays Alabama.
Hey, but you know what? You didn't lose to Arkansas.
Or lose to Ole Miss. So it was, for 2/3 of us, it was a rough day. Kyle left that birthday party high on my horse thinking the Cats had it in the bag, and Hotty Toddy, gosh almighty, got the best of us. Matt, division series updates and thoughts on what's going forward in Major League Baseball.
Yeah, I believe that we're all on the same page here for the first time in a while. Is that as long as those Astros don't make it any further, I think the world will be a better place.
Yeah. I watched a lot of the wild card weekend matchups just because it was on all day. And working remotely, I can sit here at my desk and I can look right over there and there's a TV. And so I just had baseball on all day. I watched more baseball in last week than I have in probably the past 5 years. And it was really kind of cool to see some of the matchups. The Braves, Reds, the first game, I think the Reds had 11 hits and got no runs. And so that was a pretty interesting matchup. And so it's going to be a fun one to see. I agree. I think that Padres-Dodgers matchup is going to be really fun. And we'll kind of talk a little bit more about that later on in the show. So really quickly, let's get some picks of the AL and NL championship series, who we think is going to make it to the ALCS and the NLCS. I'll give my picks first because my World Series picks, both of them are out, so I've got to change it up a little bit. So I'm going to go with the Rays and the A's out of the AL, and the Padres in a huge upset, even though it's going to knock me off in the draft that we did. I'm going with the Padres versus the Bravos in the NL. So Matt, who you have making it to the championship series?
I got the Yankees and the A's, and then I've got the Braves and the Dodgers, just for the Texas boy to finally get it done, and Clayton Kershaw.
Kyle?
Yeah, mine are the exact same as Matt's. I got because I picked Yankees Dodgers at the beginning. I'm sticking with those two.
Yep.
I want the A's to beat the Astros, and the Marlins put up my Cubs, so they don't need to move further.
There you go. Spoken like a true fan. Guys, the Major League Baseball playoff time is called, October at its finest. It's the chase for October, yada, yada, yada. And that thing makes you think of all things fall. So one thing I wanted to talk about tonight is our favorite fall festivities with the family. This can kind of go all over the place. So there's really no guidelines here. As we got the Fall Classic coming up in just, a matter of a couple of weeks. Let's go with our fall festivities. Matt, so I'm going to toss it to you first. Give us a couple, maybe three of your top fall festivities with the fam.
Well, there's one thing that has to happen for sure, and that is to make a big old pot of chili. Make a pot of chili on Saturday, eat it for all the football games Saturday, eat it for lunch and dinner, eat it for lunch and dinner on Sunday, and maybe even breakfast. Scramble some eggs and put it with the chili. It'll change your life.
It'll change something, but I don't know about your life.
Yeah.
Maybe your waistline.
Or your toilet paper roll.
That's right. Yeah. So I got to ask you, are you talking traditional red chili, or do you mix it up with like the white chili, the chicken white chili, or what's your go-to?
No, we're a meat and bean chili family here at the Kirk House.
Okay.
We're classic red chili with ground beef and breakfast sausage, and it's really good.
You don't put noodles in it, do you?
What?
Yeah,
that's only in like Cincinnati or something.
Yeah, that's like in northern Kentucky. Yeah, no, don't tell me about it. A lot of my family in Kentucky eats it with noodles in it. I'm like, oh,
I think
that's so wrong.
I think those people that do that, their family trees don't fork out. Straight up and down.
Easy. That's my kinfolk you're talking about. But yeah, I don't agree with it. Okay, so we got chili. What else?
We obviously love to watch some Razorback football games. That's
okay.
One thing. And then we love to go to take my daughter, which she's only 1.5, so we've only done this twice so far. But we've taken her to a pumpkin patch the first 2 years. Up here, they have a little farmer's market we're going to take her to go and see pumpkins and do all that. But if that doesn't go for this year, we're going to make homemade s'mores on the grill.
Nice.
Which is probably going to happen anyway. But
you're going to make some more of what? Come on, guys. No, really? Some more of what?
Yeah.
That was so funny. I forgot to laugh, Michael.
Well,
last time I heard that, I fell off my dinosaur.
Hey, last time you heard that, it was and Smalls and all the guys from the Sandlot. All right, man, that fell flat. I thought you guys would be on board. So Kyle, fall festivities with the family.
So I also have the pumpkin patch. The place we normally go is got a lot of stuff shut down for due to COVID, but. Mike, you've already gone to the pumpkin patch this year out towards.
Well, I did not. My family did.
You did not.
I wouldn't play golf.
Never mind.
Yeah.
But I think we're going to the same place. Trunk or treat / trick or treat.
Yeah.
Always fun. Kids get super excited over the candy, and then football Saturdays where we also make chili. It's red chili and there is no noodles, and I might this year try to sneak in some chorizo into my chili.
Nice.
But I can't let the wife or the kids see it or they won't eat it.
There we go. Yeah, look here. Just Be a Dad podcast says tough crowd. Yes, it absolutely is a tough crowd. I thought some more of what was a good line. Well, we've got 40 seconds here before we got to go to break, so I'm going to get mine in really quickly. So mine are pretty basic. It's the 3 F's. You got food, you got family, and football. Well, I guess that's 2, 3. I'm all right. I'm going to throw a fourth, and a fire. There is nothing better on a fall night than having a nice fire out in the backyard, get everybody out. We did one the other night. Kids almost fell into the fire a couple of times, which is exciting. And yeah, it's a good time. So
I saw the pictures of your chairs by your fire, Michael. That kind of makes sense.
That's right.
With how close you were to the fire.
We were standing outside the fire, but we've got to go to a break. We'll be right back on Dad's Watching Sports.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, the Dad's Watching Sports podcast has some exciting news for you. You guys have heard us talk about the RTF Sports Network. You can check out our show there, streaming each and every week on their Facebook page. And, of course, our podcast on Tuesdays and Thursdays at 11 a.m. Eastern. Well, the RTF network is rebranding to the All Access Sports Network. We're super excited about this and looking forward to providing our listeners all access to the world of sports, and in our case, dad life. Stay tuned for more information about the All Access Sports Network.
We're back here on Dad's Watching Sports. Kyle Castles with the beautiful painting of his fingernails. Thank you, Kyle. And again, Lauren, great job on painting those nails. I think that went above and beyond what you could have done there. So kudos there. Michael Draper, Kyle Castles, and Matt Woo Pig Suey Kirk will refer into that all week. But Matt, after we're getting into this in a few minutes, man, 20 straight games. I know it had to feel good to get a W for the Hogs.
Over 1,000 days, 20 games. The Hogs go down to Starkville and just obliterate them.
I don't know if I'd use obliterate, but yes,
four turnovers and a pick six, and you win by 7. I don't know. That's obliteration.
We'll get to the game. We'll get to the game in just a few minutes.
The defending national champions look like a bomb.
We'll get to the game in just a few minutes. It was a great defensive game plan by the Hogs there. So, guys, one thing I wanted to get into on tonight's show, and I saw this story late last week on ESPN, and this to me is the epitome of what I feel like could be a parent or a grandparent's worst nightmare. If you aren't familiar with the story, Joe Montana, legendary quarterback from the Niners and Chiefs, he and his wife live out in California. And one day late last week, they had put their granddaughter, I believe she's 9 months old, they'd put her down for a nap. And they recognized that something wasn't right. And there was an intruder in their house who tried to kidnap their 9-month-old grandchild. You see and hear about this kind of stuff all the time, especially in the world that we live in now with trafficking and everything that's involved with that. Again, to me, it's one of my greatest worst nightmares. Kyle, you think about in your own home, someone coming in and trying to steal your own child or grandchild in this case. Man, it just keeps me up at night thinking about not only that, but, we all have wives here and thinking about them being out in public with kids and just putting themselves out there in harm's way potentially. It's a world that it's a really sick and scary world that we live in with having little kids during this time.
Yeah, I mean, it's terrifying and quite frankly, if it happens in my house, it's a good way to get killed. Yeah. I'm just going to be honest with you. But to the idea of walking into your kid or grandkid's bedroom and there stands someone holding your child that you don't know, it's yeah. I mean, quick story. So yesterday we're out at my father-in-law's house and for Jack's 4th birthday, and Hannah the baby was inside asleep, and me and Mama walked in. Me and Lauren walked in we were getting things ready, and Hannah was supposed to be in her playpen asleep, and she wasn't. And my mom had gotten her because she was awake and screaming. But just like that split second is a terrifying experience. Yeah. It
without a doubt is. And I think, I think about this all the time. You see stories across the country where specifically it seems like it happens more with females with moms that are out at a shopping center with the kids, and someone follows them back to their car, and the next thing you know, boom, they're gone. And Kyle, specifically here, I don't know how it is down there, Matt, but in Dallas, but in Middle Tennessee, with all of the intersecting interstates, we're at really kind of a hot spot for this stuff. So it's completely terrifying. It's my worst nightmare. And I hope that none of us or anybody listening or watching this show ever has to go through something like that. And kudos to Joe and his wife for really intervening quickly and saving their granddaughter. But Matt, having a little daughter, I know it's something that you constantly think about as well.
Yeah, I have a very special set of skills, and that's how to use my bolt action on my rifle. And it'll be chitty, chitty, bang, bang for somebody. There's no doubt about that.
No, without a doubt. I think we're all on that same page.
I'm very happy that Joe Montana was able to step in and save his grandchild. I couldn't even imagine, because that's not even it's his kid's kid. So, he's going to be even more protective over something of his kids' kids versus it being his own kid. And, I couldn't imagine being in that situation. And that's a scary situation. I guess it kind of sounds like that old Joe needs to learn how to unlock his doors at his house also.
Well, I want to increase that security system for sure. TJ says a home intruder is terrifying. Happened to me and my family 2 years ago. He was walking towards the kids' room. Yeah, man, I can't even imagine. And they say a lot of it happens in kind of broad daylight because they think people are unsuspecting, in the middle of the day. But yeah, you see that. And again, if it can happen in what I would imagine is a very nice neighborhood that Joe Montana and his family live in, then it could definitely happen to all of us as well. So dads and moms out there, keep your little ones close, keep a watchful eye. And if you catch somebody, I say we treat them kind of like Matt and Kyle alluded to, and let them know who's boss and let them meet their maker for sure.
Hide your kids, hide your wives.
That's right. Yeah, without a doubt. All right, guys, let's move to the NFL. It has been quite the week since we last spoke about the NFL. It seems like last week we were talking about injuries. Now we're talking about teams just not even being able to get out on the field, specifically here in Nashville with the Titans. COVID is really starting to make an impact on the National Football League, Matt. The Titans have had a lot of outbreaks. Their game with the Steelers has been moved towards a couple of weeks from now. Other teams are having to make adjustments. Cam Newton out for the Patriots. They've had to move their game as well. So COVID wreaking havoc now on the National Football League.
Yeah, to me, it just kind of seems – excuse me. It kind of seems to me like that maybe the Titans weren't really following the protocols there. They really kind of screwed the pooch, so to speak, on this whole deal. And, they could cause a big, big problem, especially if the Vikings start getting it as well. It'll be real interesting to see how it all shakes out come down the stretch here for this next week.
Yeah, and I think that was the thing that's troubling or a little puzzling to everybody for the Titans is the fact that the Vikings have not gotten it. They've tested and everybody is good to go with them. And so it definitely has the looks as if somebody within the Titans organization was not following protocol and whatever that looks like. But Kyle,
like a lot of them were.
Yeah, well, it only takes one. But yeah, it sounds like they definitely had some things they need to answer to. Kyle, your thoughts on COVID kind of running rampant, starting to in the National Football League?
Look, we saw this with baseball. Is this going to be a regular occurrence throughout the season?
Yeah.
I think there's a fix. I think there's a way to kind of get all this in. This is football. It's not baseball where you can just play doubleheaders and catch up. And that week between the conference title games and the Super Bowl, that should be taken away. We should add an 18th week to the season, call it a COVID week. And that way we can move games to that week if need be. And instead of having 2 weeks between the conference title game and the Super Bowl, let that be 1 week and then the week after. And that way you don't run into it. And that way really – as long as this is going on before bye weeks, you really have 2 weeks there that you can fill and maybe get all 16 games in.
Yeah, because the thing that's really going to throw things for a loop is if there's a handful of teams that don't get the same amount of games. Mm-hmm. And then especially if there's somebody in playoff contention, because can you really hold somebody can you hold a team back from making potentially the playoffs in the fact that they just simply did not have the opportunity to play, especially if it was a team that didn't even have COVID, but their opponent did, and they get punished for that. That's going to be really –
We'll go now. So now this is my opinion on this, guys. I think they should really take it a step further in the team. If a team like, let's say that Pittsburgh is not really having to deal with any of this. So I say that they just say that the Titans lose because the Titans obviously weren't doing what they were supposed to be doing.
The problem is you can't
catch COVID.
The problem is you can't prove that the Titans weren't doing what they weren't supposed to be doing. You don't know that one Titans player had a wife that went to the grocery store and just happened to catch COVID there and brought it back to him, and he took it into the facility.
But they weren't.
You don't know. You don't know. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, I think that would be. I think that to have that kind of as a blanket that to say that you just have to forfeit. I think there's a lot of situations like Kyle's alluding to that would be really hard to prove that you were negligent and it would cost your team a game.
It's also hard to prove that you were not being compliant with the rules as well. So you can flip that both ways.
But this is America, and I am innocent until proven guilty.
But that's not true because that's not how they treat people because they arrest you before they actually even know if you did something or not.
Well, they can arrest you on probable cause.
But the NFL and it's
probable cause, Kyle.
billion-dollar business is going to say we need the facts before we're able to do anything like that. All right, guys, let's get down to some NCAA football. Let's move it down a level to the NCAA football. We talked a little bit about some of the SEC games already. Again, Matt, congratulations. And, Matt, I will throw up your graphic for you.
Why don't you have some of that, Kyle?
You can see I've already had my slice. You're gonna
have more than one slice. I'm gonna force feed you the rest of that.
You know what? Go ahead and throw some crow on that too. I'll eat some crow as well.
So here we are our picks for SEC football from week 2. As you can see, guys, there's a little bit of red, a little bit more towards the end, but a little bit of red on our picks there. So Kyle, you're actually in the lead through 2 weeks at 11-3. Matt's 10-4, and I am back in lowly third place with a pretty abysmal record of 8-6. So we're going to get into some picks, but any thoughts on week 2 across the SEC? Yes. And then we're going to get into, and yes, Matt, we realized that Arkansas got a win, but anything else about the SEC?
Yes, I do have something else, Kyle. It's called the bulldog mouth overloading a puppy dog butt, and that's just what the Bulldogs did with all that crap they're talking.
You've been hanging on to that one, huh, bud?
Yes, I have.
Probably the one you should just let go. Wasn't that funny?
There's a lot of us that would like to skip SEC football talk this week. I being one of those. Obviously, TJ is an A&M fan, definitely. But again, TJ, you lost to Alabama, who's on a different level. I wouldn't worry about that. Kentucky lost to lowly Ole Miss, which is just very frustrating and heartbreaking all in one. So, guys, let's kind of move towards or really quickly. We've only got a few minutes here, but really quickly, any last thoughts on week 2 in college football?
If Kentucky would, just score touchdowns instead of throwing up peace signs, I think Kentucky wins that ballgame.
Well, or if they kick an extra point, and just hold on to business. Okay, well, let's get to week 3.
One thing too.
All right, very quickly. Come on, quick.
You're gonna make me stutter if you don't stop trying to rush me.
Hey, come on now.
You're the one that asked for comments, but anyway.
I said very quickly.
Okay, and Florida is the real deal. They're gonna win the East.
I think they'll win the.
I can tell you now.
I think they'll win the East. I don't know that they're the third best team in the country once this all kind of shakes out, but I think they'll definitely win the East. Okay, so for week 3, we're going to switch things up just a little bit. We're not going all SEC games. So we are going to start in the SEC. Tennessee, who's unbeaten and has what's oddly enough is the SEC's longest winning streak, goes to Georgia between the hedges this weekend. Matt, you've got Georgia hosting the Vols. Can Tennessee keep this thing running, or does Georgia go ahead and smack them around a little bit?
No, I think that Georgia's defense is too stout for that Tennessee offense. I think that Georgia's going to manhandle them.
Kyle, very quickly.
Give me Georgia over Tennessee.
I'll take Georgia as well. And, guys, I'll make the bet that if Tennessee wins, we will play Rocky Top on this show. And you know how much I despise the University of Tennessee and that stupid song. So there's no way that's happening. The next game I wanted to talk about is the Red River rivalry, which doesn't mean a whole lot this year with Texas and Oklahoma both losing some games. Really quickly, Matt, OU or Hook 'em Horns?
As much as I'd love this game to end in a tie, I'm going to go with Oklahoma.
Okay, Kyle?
Yeah, no way they can lose 3 straight.
Yeah, you wouldn't think so. I'll go OU as well. And then the last game, which I think will be a very fun game, the U travels to Death Valley to take on Clemson, which is I would imagine going to be the nightcap on the ABC. I'll give my pick first. Guys, I think Clemson is a great team, but there's something about that U swagger. I'm going the U to pull the upset and get the win in Death Valley. Kyle. Oh, come on now.
Yeah, I'm running with Dabo and Trevor Lawrence.
Okay, Matt.
Yeah, I think the Clemson is just dripping swagoo everywhere. I'm taking the Tigers.
Taking the Tigers. All right. Well, guys, we got to go to a quick break. When we come back, we're going to talk a little bit more, and we've got the dad debate coming back. Very excited about this. All 3 of us are stepping in the ring, so put your boxing gloves on because we're going to get ready to discuss not only some sports topics, but some dad topics as well. So we will be right back after this break on Dad's Watching Sports. And make sure you check out the All Access Sports Network as we're going to be there from now on. Dad's Watching Sports. We'll be right back. Coming up next week on Dad's Watching Sports, we'll continue to keep you updated on the MLB playoffs
and check in on the Dad's World Series picks. And with the NHL done and NBA and MLB ending soon, what do those leagues look like in 2021? We'll talk about that. Plus, the Dads will recap Week 5 of college football, including the U making a trip to Death Valley to take on Dabo and the Tigers. All that and more next week on Dads Watching Sports.
We're back here on Dads Watching Sports. Michael Draper, Matt Kirk, Lou Pig Suey, and Kyle Castles. Guys, we're going to get into some topics here in just a second, but also coming up next week, we're going to be joined by Stuart Mandel, who is the editor-in-chief of The Athletic. He writes about pro football, college football, really kind of anything, and he's going to join us on the show just to talk probably a little bit of college football, but really just kind of talk about his role. And he's also, in his Twitter handle, it says a proud husband and proud father, so we'll talk about his life as a dad as well. But guys, there's definitely one thing we have not yet mentioned that I definitely wanted to bring up on this show.
And the Tampa Bay Lightning have won the Stanley Cup.
Guys, the Lightning captured the Stanley Cup, defeating the Dallas Stars. I know, Matt, you were disappointed to see that, but just really quickly, thoughts on the Lightning, Matt, winning the Stanley Cup?
Well, besides the fact that that I didn't sleep because my wife was up sobbing all night when the Stars lost. No, I'm kidding. I'm actually pretty happy for Tampa. I wish that the Stars would have won, obviously, for homer reasons, but I'm happy that Tampa was able to squeak it out.
Yeah. Kyle, so one question that I was on the Triple Sports podcast, yeah, that was it, the other day, and we talked about Tampa winning the hockey. They've got the Rays who are, they're right there and could easily win the World Series, and then Brady and the Bucks. Could Tampa be the next city winning multiple championships in 1 year?
Here's the thing. We were over at some friend's house today for lunch, and that Tampa Bay game was on, and I think they were down 14 or so. And me and another guy were talking about it. I was like, look, this is a Brady-led team. I'm not going to, 21-7, and I was like, they're still in this. And sure enough, they came back and won. So I'm never going to put anything past Brady. And, the baseball's crazy. The Rays have every bit of chance as anybody else to win that World Series. So
that they do. Yeah, that they do. It'll be fun to see. Because you think of sports franchises or cities that win multiple sports franchises. You usually think of L.A. or New York back in the day, Boston,
Pittsburgh.
And
Pittsburgh's a great
Flyers and Steelers.
Yeah, but a small market like Tampa Bay definitely is one you wouldn't think of. So really cool for them and their fans for sure. It's a good time to be a Tampa Bay fan. So guys, how about we get into a little debate? You guys up for it?
I'm just ready to win.
Let's do it. And we're in the ring for the dad debate. Guys, I'm very excited about getting into this. All right, our first topic of the dad debate, and Kyle, I'm going to let you go first, and then Matt, and then it'll come to me, is you're having to build an NFL franchise, and you're looking across the landscape of football, and you have to pick a quarterback to start things off, and you can choose any quarterback across the spectrum, but I've actually selected our list for us, so it'll only be a few. So, Kyle, you can have the previously mentioned Joe Montana, whatever you like to say, Matt. Tom Brady, as we just mentioned, Peyton Manning, Patrick Mahomes, or that's it, or John Elway.
Or Tom Brady.
So I said Tom Brady.
You got to listen, Matt. You lose already.
So, Kyle, who you got
Out
of those picks? Who you got, Kyle?
So, first off, Pop, I apologize.
Ooh, going against the family tree.
You know where I'm not going now, Mike.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going with what I consider to be the best all around, and there's only one guy that I think might be able to touch him right now, but the best all around quarterback in NFL history, and that is John Elway. The dude had an arm. He was accurate. He could run.
Kyle, you're making this too easy on us, man. John Elway.
Give me John Elway. Look, here's the deal. If I'm building a franchise, I'm not going to have the greatest offensive line in front of him, so I can't have Manning or Brady who can't move. Montana won with a lot of talent around him. I never saw him do it with.
And so you're not going to have Patrick Mahomes?
Well, and that's the thing. Mahomes just hasn't done it for a whole career.
Yeah,
that's the only reason I'm not picking Mahomes. That, and I figured somebody was going to say Mahomes, and I wanted to argue.
John Elway, man, that is
John Elway.
That's an interesting pick, Matt.
Well, I'm coming in with the steal here. I want the 1-5. Uno Cinco is who I want. Number 15, Patrick Mahomes. And the reason why is because he, in my opinion, is the best quarterback and is in line to be the best quarterback to ever do it. Going to take over for Aaron Rodgers. I like the way that he can run. He's the $500 million man. He's got the richest contract in sports history. Come on.
Well, the richest contract in sports history just means that he's got, one, a good agent, and two, the Kansas City Chiefs were desperate to keep him, so they just threw in the largest sum of money that they could just to keep him. Guys, I cannot believe you're talking about the greatest quarterback of all time. You're talking about a quarterback that you could start a franchise with, and you guys neither go with the greatest quarterback of all time. And, of course, I'm talking about Tom Brady. Why would you not go with Brady? He gets it done. Kyle, you just mentioned when talking about him with the Buccaneers, here's Brady ball. Here he goes. Here they go again. He'll be back in the Super Bowl this year. He'll win it again this year because he is the best there is, the best there was, and the best there ever will be. And the fact that you two jabronis are not picking Tom Brady just blows my mind. It's got to be Brady when you're starting a franchise.
Brady looks good when he's got good receivers around him. I'll give you that.
So does every quarterback.
Of course, every quarterback looks good, but there are some quarterbacks that make others better, not that rely on others to make them look good.
So Elway
is one of those guys.
All those Hall of Fame wide receivers that Tom Brady's had over the course of his career are padding his stats. Is what?
No. What Tom Brady has over the rest of them is he was with the greatest coach in football history. I don't care what level. The greatest coach in football history is who he has been with, not with Degum. I'm not saying Brady's not good. Brady belongs on the Mount Rushmore of football, but he's not the greatest. If I'm looking at, I want to build a team, I want the best talent, the greatest talent. And to me, John Elway is, unless you want to throw Marino on here, Marino had the best arm talent we've ever seen in football.
I agree with that.
He's a lefty.
Marino?
Yeah. Wasn't he a lefty?
No.
Oh, well, then I'm stupid then.
We agree.
Classic mix up.
I'm pretty sure me and Michael agree with that statement.
Classic mix-up, y'all.
I don't know if you were thinking of maybe Steve Young as being he was a lefty, but okay. So we've got Matt. Any continued arguments for Mahomes because you didn't have a whole lot for us in the first round. Anything else you got?
Because he's left-handed, guys.
Okay. Well, there you go. Mahomes, the lefty. It'll be unorthodox, and he'll be the quarterback to build a franchise with. So I don't know if you guys saw. I put it up just a second ago. So TJ says, "Give me Montana." I think the thing is, guys, you can't go wrong with any of these guys. I mean, I think you could. There's no way you could, unless you didn't choose Brady, and then you could definitely go wrong in this. All right, let's move on to another topic. This is one that sparked a lot of debate in the Twitter universe when I posted a poll. So the question is: grown men wearing sports jerseys. And really quickly, the Miami Heat just took Game 3, so it's a 2-1 series. And that, Miami won
without Bam.
Without Bam and Dragic, yeah. So, Matt, I'm coming to you first. Grown men wearing sports jerseys, and let me preface it by saying we put a Twitter poll up, and it was actually split 33%, 33%, 33.3%. People saying either yay, nay, or depends. And they gave us a couple of comments, which I'll get to in just a second, but. Yay or nay on wearing a jersey, Matt?
Well, I got a question. When they say depends, that means you have to wear a jersey with your depends, or
correct?
Does it depend on what the jersey situation is? I'm sorry.
It's a little bit of both. Yes.
Okay. Well, anyway, so I think that it's perfectly acceptable if your team is playing. So yeah, I'm saying yes, but only if your team is playing. Like you can't go to a Dallas Mavericks game when they're playing against the Suns and wear a Spurs jersey. That's stupid.
Okay, so you're saying if you're in attendance at an event, or are you saying like if you're watching your team?
Yeah, like if you're at a bar and the game of the week is there. Like if you're going to a bar on a Monday night, and let's say the Patriots and the Chiefs are playing, and you go up there wearing your you go up there wearing your Chicago Bears jersey. That's just you can't really do that.
All right, so here's my thing. My stance on this, like a lot of things, you get older, you mature, you gain a little bit more facts throughout your years, and my stance has changed throughout the years on this. You asked me 4 or 5 years ago, maybe even a little bit less than that. I'm probably team pro jersey, but the more I think about it, I just don't know that I am. And I think there are certain situations that I think it is potentially okay. But I also I think about like, okay, I feel like maybe a football jersey is a little bit more acceptable. Baseball is really kind of toting the line. And then I think if you're a grown man wearing a basketball jersey, I think your man card should be taken right then and there. So I'm leaning no. I have a little bit of acceptance for football jerseys, specifically maybe if you're joined by your child who's also wearing one, cheering on your favorite team. If you go to the grocery store wearing a jersey, I think you should be shamed into oblivion. Kyle, I'll toss it to you.
Look, if you're a grown man, who cares? Why would you care what other people think of what you're wearing? Just put your jersey on and go, man. That's all that matters. Why are we sitting here trying to judge other people? I might have a few jerseys hanging in my closet right now, but
you wore one last week. I know.
I did. I have a Saints jersey. I have a Cubs jersey. I have a Preds sweater.
Ooh, I didn't think about the sweater. Okay, well, so this okay. So it seems like we have 2 yeses, and I'm more or less a no. So let me ask you this then, because this came up when I told you I was watching baseball this week more than I have in probably the past decade. And it really kind of hit on me and dawned on me that in baseball, the coaches, managers, whatever you want to call them, also wear the uniform. I don't understand why. Can anyone tell me why the managers wear the uniform? Because I think that is absolutely ridiculous.
Because baseball.
I think it should happen in every sport, if you want to know the truth.
Could you imagine Tom Landry not in that fedora, but just like with a Cowboys helmet on?
Or if Bill Belichick didn't wear his little cutoff sweater or his cutoff sleeve hoodie, and was wearing a Patriots jersey.
All right, so this is a really good comment from TJ, even though I know it's directed at me. If you need a card to be a man, you might not be that much of a man.
This is what I'm talking about, TJ. Well done.
Preach on, brother.
Well played, TJ. I don't agree with you, but well played. Touche, and thank you for always listening and supporting the show. Okay, well, I just can't get on board with it. I'm just not a fan of the jerseys.
Well, this is why you're wrong, because you care what other people think. Apparently,
it has nothing to do with what other people think. I just feel like you're a grown man. Be a professional. You don't need to wear a little kid's jersey.
Be a professional. Why do I have to be a professional in my leisure time?
You're always on the clock, Al. Always on the clock. You got to keep.
Maybe.
Okay, let's move on to the next topic. Guys, I walked into Lowe's the other day and was just appalled by the fact that Christmas decorations are already out. It is October, I think it was the 2nd when I walked into Lowe's, and Christmas decorations are already out. This is appalling. It is not appropriate time for Christmas. We haven't even made it to Halloween yet. Get it out of my stores. Don't put it up in your yard. I don't want to see it. Kyle, what are your thoughts on not only decorations coming out in the stores, but people already talking about putting up Christmas decorations, and we are on October the 4th.
Man, I absolutely love it.
Get out of here.
Look, we do Christmas November 1. Whatever November 1 falls on, the tree is going up. We have Halloween, the candy gets put away, and the lights come out. It is Christmas time starting November 1. We start watching Christmas movies every night at this house on November 1. Man, Christmas vacation when the tree goes up on November 1.
I've had so much respect for your wife, and it just went out the window with this comment. How can you celebrate Christmas?
I would have the tree up all year. I would take the decorations off, and I'd have the tree up with the lights all year. I love it.
Call me a traditionalist, but with Thanksgiving being the best holiday in the books, it can't continue to get overlooked with this Christmas nonsense, with decorations coming out in stores, decorations being put around the house. The day after Thanksgiving is the day you put the decorations up. I realize they need to come out in stores a few weeks ahead of time, but the day after Christmas is the day it all goes up. Matt, what do you say?
So in my house, we put up our Christmas decorations on Black Friday. That's just kind of our tradition. It's always been like that for me growing up. But on Black Friday is the time. Watch football, put up Christmas decorations, eat leftovers, get fat and happy, and sleep, as much as you possibly can afterwards. But
y'all
anyway,
are a bunch of Grinches.
Into the store, the Christmas decorations need to go in there a week before Black Friday, and then that's it. So the Friday before the week of Thanksgiving, and then you put your decorations up Black Friday, and they go up. The Christmas decorations are up on December 26th.
There we go. And it looks like Brandon Combs agrees. Christmas tree goes up Thanksgiving night. I appreciate that. TJ says, I'm going to sit this one out. I'm not even a fan of Christmas. That's awesome, TJ. He's definitely not with Kyle in that one. I got to go back to this comment, too, from Combs. Managers wear uniforms in baseball because back in the day, more than not, the managers were also players. Okay, but this isn't the 1940s anymore. The manager does not need to wear his little get-up, especially like the third and first base coaches.
Whoa, do you not remember growing up and like Tommy Lasorda? He was like 70 and had his belly was bigger than the rest of his body. He looked good in his uniform.
I do remember that, and he looked ridiculous in his uniform. Why can't it's the same thing? And I don't think that NBA coaches should have to wear suits, man. Just put on your polo like they're doing right now,
Put on a jersey.
No, do not put on a jersey because you're a grown man not playing a game. That's why
Eric Spoelstra should come out in what an 8 Heat jersey in the next game.
In a 0-0.
Okay.
Coach should be 0-0.
LeBron wore 8, which is why I said 8.
I thought you were good.
LeBron did not wear the number 8. You're talking about Kobe Bryant.
Pretty sure he wore 8 in Miami.
I think
no, he did not. He wore 6.
I was thinking he wore 6. Speaking of LeBron, that's a great segue, Kyle. I appreciate that.
I do again.
So Matt, this topic's more for you probably than anybody. Look, I think we've talked about this at length before. I don't think any of us right now maybe have LeBron ahead Jordan as the greatest of all time or whoever you have at the top of that list. But Matt, you got to admit the guy is working his way up there. And it brought me to the topic of, in our eyes, over the rest of his career, he's 35 years old, so he's probably got a couple of years left, maybe 5, 3 to 5, probably not 5, but closer to 3 years left. What must he do to become the greatest of all time? And if you need to cop out and say he can't, that's fine. But Matt, because I know you got the hottest take on this because you call him LeBum and you aren't a fan, I've got to ask you, what must LeBron in your eyes do to become the GOAT?
Well, for one, we don't call him LeBron, we call him LeBum, and I call him Queen James because he's a diva and he's a woman. But anyway, in my eyes, I've got LeBron as the number 11th greatest basketball player of all time. He's not in the top 10. He doesn't have that killer instinct. He's not a cold-blooded killer. So, to me, I agree with Brandon here. I don't think LeBron is even close to Kobe Bryant, and he's not even the best player on that Lakers team right now. Anthony Davis has put that team on his back and carried them. In my opinion, LeBron is not. He can. He's too old to work his way into even the top 8 right now. I think that he just doesn't have that killer instinct that says that I'm going to put this team on my back and I'm going to will our way to victory. And Jordan, he would do that, but not him. But not LeBron James. So
the way LeBron is trending, he very well could have the 6 titles that Jordan has. He could be in the top 5 to 7 of points, assists. In terms of rebounds, he could be one of the top guys in terms of MVPs, NBA Finals MVPs. If you combine everything that he has done, and of course, I think he's still got some work to do, but if he's able to win a couple of titles with the Lakers, and they're up 2-1 and will probably win this year, there is no way on God's green earth you can keep him out of discussion. And he may not eclipse Jordan, but there is no way, given the accolades that he has been able to establish, that he could not be considered as one of the best of all time, if not the GOAT.
Oh, okay. So if you're not saying he's not Jordan, then how would he be the GOAT, Michael? You're contradicting yourself here. But
no, I'm saying he could. He's a lot of people don't even.
He's not close to Jordan, though. Is what you just said.
Yes, I'm saying he is close to him. I say he's already there.
Not close to him at all. No.
Yeah, you're insane. You're letting your bias completely run through this.
So I have one more statement, Michael. Okay, so how many finals how many NBA championships does Michael Jordan have?
He has 6.
But how many times has he been there?
He was there 6.
Okay, so in the big moment, when the lights were the brightest and the stage was the biggest, Michael Jordan played out of his mind. and he willed his team to victory every single time.
But if you're using that logic, Matt,
if you're
using that logic, LeBron has been there more than Jordan. He's in 10 straight.
He hasn't won it. He gets
but
there.
It doesn't matter if you're using that logic of who gets there. If you're saying, oh, they got to get to the NBA Finals and win it, he's been there 10 times and he's on pace to probably pass Jordan in terms of 6. So that logic is completely debunked.
Okay, so we'll wait just a second here. All right. So if you're at work, Michael, and you're given a project, right?
Yeah.
And you're supposed to complete this project, but yet you get there and you were there at the project. You almost had it done, but then you just didn't get it done. If you did that at your job and you had been there 10 times and you only did it 3, then tell me what would happen to you.
Well, it depends on where I work and what I'm doing the other 10 times. If I'm getting to the project and I'm helping the team get there and it's still a successful project, then I think it's fine. And I think,
but as a player that calls himself the king, that's the greatest to ever do it, who is self-proclaimed best to ever do it as well, that right there should say that he has willed his team to victory. He hasn't done that, Michael. He hasn't. He did that one time in Cleveland. In fact, Kyrie Irving was the one that hit the big shots in that game to put them over the top.
Okay, he hit one shot. Kyle, we'll let you finish up really quickly. We've only got a few minutes left. But
here's the thing. With people like Matt, LeBron's never going to be in the discussion. And I'm seeing TJ and Brandon in the comments, and they're not – he's never going to get there. At the end of the day, those people that can put away any bias they might have and just look at things objectively, they will say LeBron is easily in the top 5. Many would put him top 2. It's Jordan, LeBron. I don't know that he can pass Jordan. I think Jordan transcended the sport. I don't think LeBron transcends the sport. Mike Reeves, that's fine. I'll give you a break. You can turn the show off and not come back. Well, all I'm saying is he is that good, but he didn't transcend the sport like Jordan. So no, I don't think he'll ever be Jordan. But the dude's easily in the top 3.
I think the jury's still out, and I think people made the determination of Jordan once he retired. The second time, after the third time, we kind of already knew. I think once LeBron has put the closing chapter on his career, and we can line up the amount of titles, the amount of finals appearances, the amount of finals wins, the amount of finals MVPs, the league MVPs, the scoring titles, where he ranks all time in scoring and assists and rebounds, any defense. I think when we can compile all that, that's the true way. And I think when we do that, depending on what he does the next 2 or 3 years, I think he's got every good a shot to make it. Combs jumps in with Jordan, Kobe, Wilt, LeBron in that order. All right, Matt, you got one quick thing, but we got to get through it quick. So really quickly,
Jordan, Kobe, Bird is the top 3 right there.
I don't know about Bird, man. I love Larry Bird, but I don't know about that. All right, very quickly, guys, very, very quickly. Family-themed Halloween costumes, is it a yes? Is it a no? If it is a yes, what are you doing this year, Matt, very quickly?
We are going as the characters from Mickey Mouse Clubhouse. I'm going to be Goofy.
Nice. Kyle?
Yes, Toy Story.
Okay, I'm going yes as well. I'm trying to convince my wife for us to dress up as the family from the Coco Melon videos because I think that would be hilarious. But we'll see if she actually agrees to that as well. Well, guys, this has been a jam-packed show. I like doing this the ad debate kind of in this show, so we're going to bring that back definitely a couple of weeks. And thanks for everybody for participating and watching. Sorry I couldn't get in all the comments, but we appreciate you guys doing that. But guys, this has been Dad's Watching Sports. We'll see you next week.